What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is September 16th. We are back. This is your first look. If you've never been to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, check us out. We've done 10,000 simulations in the background. We're going to break down the games. We've got an early slate. We've got the main slate of 11 games. We're going to cover them for you. So we're going to go game by game. We're going to look at pitchers and like our top 3 to top 5 bats in each game. After that, we're going to do our other segments. So we're going to do our matchup tool. So through 10,000 sims, we're going to give you all the batters that have 10 out of 10 matchup rating, followed by Pitches Be Crazy, and then finally our sports betting segment called Makin Bacon. So if you've never been here before, make sure you hit that bell notification. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hype up the videos, whatever the heck that means. Still don't know what that means. Watch the videos a couple of times a day. That helps me out as well. We tried, and because of you guys, we try to have 2 giveaways every single day. Here's the first one. Like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. You do all 3 of those, and this video gets a minimum of 50 likes. You will have a shot at a free week of FTA+. So that is a week of all sports. So this week we got MLB, NASCAR, NFL, PGA, MMA. If this video gets a minimum of 100 likes, a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes on the video, a chance at a lifetime pass worth $500. Second way to win. Somewhere in this video, there'll be a keyword or a key phrase. Be on the lookout for it. Type it in and have your second shot, hopefully, of a free week of FTA+. So we did not have a video on Monday. I woke up without a voice. I've drank enough coffee and warm and honey and tea today that it's coming back a little bit, so I'm able to give you this. So we're going to go based off the Sunday video. Now, the Sunday video did not do very well. I assume it's because everyone was focused on NFL, even though that NFL slate ended up being very, very bad. But in that video, only 195 views, which is our lowest amount of views almost all year, if not all year. 13 comments and 39 likes. So we're not going to have a winner for the likes. We're just going to have a winner for the keyword. So let's hope the keywords are here. And the winner of the keyword, there you go, RJ Grossi. Congratulations. Please email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. You know the drill. You have won yourself a free week. So we have a ton of content under the MLB tab. We've got NFL, PGA, MMA, NASCAR, NBA once it's back. So if you want to check it out, it's $10 for a week. But we do have an early slate. We have the first game, the Braves at the Nationals. It's a makeup game. It's very early, 1:05 Eastern. So we don't know who the pitcher is yet, and that's not going to be a game to cover. The early slate does have the Braves at Washington. It's got Chris Sale versus to be announced. Now, if Chris Sale is in this one, I do like him as a pitcher. But we don't know what to go off of here. We do not know what pitcher is going to go for Washington. So we don't really know which Atlanta bats to take because we don't know who the pitcher is. But if you were to go against Chris Sale and you wanted to go a little bit of a Washington stack here, like Josh Bell, Luis Garcia, and Paul DeYoung, I do not mind them, but I kind of like Chris Sale in this one. Second game of the early slate, Joey Quintillo versus Casey Mize. So Quintillo's only faced 11 plate appearances from the Tigers, 200 batting average. Really haven't seen him much. And then Casey Mize, 39 plate appearances against Cleveland, 289 batting average, 20.5 K percentage. I don't mind either pitcher for tournaments. I'm okay with them. I think I'm looking at bats a little bit more, though. So if I'm looking at Cleveland bats against Casey Mize, I'm looking at Daniel Schneemann. I'm looking at Kyle Manzardo. I'm looking at Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan. Those would be the ones that I'd kind of target there. If I'm looking at Detroit bats against the lefty, I'm looking at Spencer Torkelson. I'm looking at Glaber. I'm going to have a little bit of Dylan Dingler as my 3 that I would go with. And if you want to, add a couple more, we could be looking at a possible Winseal Perez, maybe a Kerry Carpenter if you wanted to go a full stack there. Talk about a stinker. Derrick Henry in week 2. My goodness. Everybody. Joe Burrow. I was all over Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had a huge day. Burrow stayed in. I'm cashing everywhere. But no, he gets hurt. Unbelievable. It's NFL. It's only week 2. It's NFL. I'm upset. Hopefully you're upset too. It means we care. Second game, the Cubs at the Pirates. You've got Cade Horton versus Paul Skeens. I love Skeens here. We got it. At least you'd love to see 6+ innings out of him. I'm not looking at the bats in this one. I am looking at Paul Skeens, though. Early on, I don't really care about the bats here. Give me Paul Skeens. Could be a low-scoring game. Could be 1-0 here. Just depends. Then we've got the Athletics at the Red Sox. You've got Jeffrey Springs versus Connolly Early. So Springs, 48 plate appearances, 283 batting average. Connolly Early, 21 plate appearances, 250. I think both are interesting spots for tournaments. I don't trust them. I don't love this early slate. I personally am not going to play this early slate. I'm just going to play the main slate, but I wanted to give you guys the breakdown. So if I'm taking A's bats against early, I'm taking Langelier. I'm taking Brent Rooker. I'm taking Soderstrom, Nick Kurtz, probably Lawrence Butler in that one. If I'm going Red Sox bats against Springs, I'm going Rob Refsnyder. I'm going Trevor Story, Carlos Narvaez. I'm going to go Alex Bregman if he is in there. And then I'm probably going to go, it depends. They've kind of struggled a little bit. Romy Gonzalez, if he's in there, I don't mind Romy. That's probably it. There's not a ton that I love in that one. So let's take a look at the main slate now. We've got San Diego versus the New York Mets, which is kind of what I thought it would be. But it appears to be Clay Holmes as the opener. Okay? So him being in the opener, did 4 innings there. Is he? Yeah, dude. Okay. So Holmes is starting. Could be an opener. You cannot afford 7,500 for that because like it said, it depends on the ERA. Mania coming into the bullpen because he got a 7.71 ERA as a starter, but now he's going to be a long relief, but it could be after the second inning. So what's the point? The Mets are a mess. Let's put it that way. You got Michael King going against his former teammate in Clay Holmes. In this ballpark, I love Michael King here. The Mets have struggled. I think they lost 8 or 9 in a row. I don't mind Michael King. Even if it's Clay Holmes, I would rather take Michael King and then San Diego bat. So the San Diego bats is Tatis Machado, Ramon Laureano, be my top 3. If I'm going more, it's probably Jackson Merrill and Ryan O'Hearn there. If you don't believe in Michael King and you think the Mets are going to have a good game, Brandon Nimmo, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso would be my top 3 in that one. But give me King, and let's just see San Diego absolutely demolish both Holmes for a couple of innings and the Mania for however many innings. I don't even know. It's a mess in Queens. If you're a Mets fan, let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how you're feeling. Let's just put it. Second game, Toronto at Tampa Bay is where we're at. We've got going on here Ryan Pepiot versus Berrios. So both are averaging under 20. Now, basically on DraftKings, we're looking for an average right about 25 to 30 plus fantasy points there. You'd obviously love to see more. That's kind of the floor. 20 to 25 is basically the floor you need. Both are well under it. So if you look at Pepiot, he started off very strong with a good game here, and then he had a couple of downers, and he had a good May. His May was really good. May into June, the majority of June was really good. Then you came into the All-Star break, and it's kind of been up and down. He has had 3 straight games that have been pretty damn good. You look at his splits when he pitches against Toronto this year, he is averaging 22.3 in 2 starts. Okay, 12 strikeouts in 2 starts. When he pitches at home, he does have a better ERA of 3.07. So I do like that. That makes sense. Obviously, everyone's going to be on Toronto bats because they're first place. Pepiot could be sneaky. Sneaky pick at 7,900. But Toronto's hitting very well, so it will really depend. Then you got Berrios. He has struggled. Got 2 earned runs there, 2 earned runs there, but gave up 6 earned runs. Great game against Miami. Bad game against Texas. Splits-wise, against Tampa Bay in 2 starts, 7.8 fantasy points. When he pitches on the road, he does have a better ERA, but it's still 3.57. So if I'm looking at this and you want to go a little bit different, I don't mind some of the Tampa Bay bats, like Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, and Junior Caminero would be my top 3. If you're going away from Pepiot and you need to look at some of these bats, Addison Barger, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer would probably be my top 3. If obviously Vladdy you pay up for, you basically know what you're going to get out of him. But I don't mind Pepiot for tournaments because I think his ownership will be lower just due to the fact that he is going up against the first place team. And this ballpark is a minor league ballpark where the ball does fly out there. I completely get that. I understand. I'm going to go in that direction. So we've got Baltimore at the White Sox. It has not been confirmed that it is Tyler Wells, but it is his turn in the rotation. He has pitched twice since coming off the IL. He's been dominant in those 2. 6 Ks last game against Pittsburgh. Not the best matchup for him. Does have a plus matchup here against the White Sox. I hate that he's 9,000 because he has gone up 1,300 since his last start. He's been in a good spot since coming off the IL. He's gone 89, like almost 85 to 90 pitches, so we kind of know where he might be. He's on the road. He's got one start, so you can't really look at home and away. I hate that he's 9K, though, but we'll take what we can get. Then you got Shane Smith. He's never faced the Orioles before. The Orioles strike out the fourth most out of any team. He's coming off a pretty good start against Tampa Bay. Not so much against Detroit. Great start against the Royals and the Yankees. Splits-wise, he is not, like I said, he's never faced Baltimore before. But when he pitches at home, he does have a sub-3 ERA of 2.98. So I think he's interesting. I think both pitchers are interesting. The problem is, it's not 100% confirmed that it's Wells, but I don't mind Wells in casher tournaments. I do like Shane Smith here. I'm not looking at the bats right now. I'm not looking at the bats at all. Through 10,000 sims, none of the bats jump out to me and be like, hey, we really need to take this. So maybe after 20,000 sims, they will. But that's where I'd go with. I would take the pitching in this game. I think they're both great pitching options for tournament. So we got the Yankees at Minnesota. Usually the Yankees take care of business against Minnesota. You got Cam Schlittler, and I believe he did face them this year, right? He did. 1 game, 5 innings, 6 Ks, 18.8 fantasy points. That was at home. He's now in Minnesota. 33.3 K percentage in that game. And then you got Zebby Matthews. So Cam Schlittler, obviously, it depends on what you're going to get out of him. If you look at him, I believe he got lit up. No, he did well against Detroit. That's right. On September 11th, he put up 25.3 fantasy points in that game. Went 6 innings, 7 Ks. In the Minnesota game, it did come back on 8/13. So it's been just over a month. 5 innings, 6 Ks in that one. You look at his splits when he's on the road, he does have a better ERA of 1.99. So he makes sense at 8,200. I'd rather pay 8,200 for him than Tyler Wells at 9,000. Then you got Zebby Matthews. Coming off a bad start against the Angels, which they are the team that strikes out the most. Been up and down. Splits-wise, he did face the Yankees once this year. Did well. 20.6 fantasy points. That was back on 8/11. 5.2 innings, 9 Ks. That's when they were sliding. They're a little bit back. Their offense is back. You got Stanton back. You see Zebby Matthews pitching at home. He does have a 356, so he has been better. The way the Yankees are hitting, and they took 2 of 3 from Boston, I do like the Yankees bats. I'm looking at every single one person in this Yankees lineup except for Anthony Volpe and Austin Wells. I hope Volpe is not in there. He shouldn't be, but I would take a couple of different stacks of the Yankees. Twins, I'm not really looking at the Twins bats. Maybe after simulations and we get news and notes and blah, blah, blah. But at the moment, first look, I don't want the Minnesota offense. Angels at Milwaukee is the next game. You got Caden Dana versus Freddie Peralta. So obviously Peralta's in a great spot. The Angels strike out the most out of any team. He's coming off a bad start against Texas, which is weird. When he pitches at home this year, he does have a 1.72 ERA. I love Freddie Peralta here. He's my second favorite pitcher on the day besides Paul Skeens. Give me Freddie Peralta against the team that strikes out them. Then Caden Dana, he comes in, 6.32 ERA, really hasn't done anything. I'm taking Milwaukee. William Contreras, Sal Frelick, Christian Yelich. Just really Jackson Churio. Anyone that's in that lineup, give me a Milwaukee stack against Caden, and I am okay with that one. Seattle at Kansas City is the next game. So this is a pitcher's ballpark. You got Logan Gilbert versus Michael Wacha. Now, Michael Wacha is coming off the IL. He's, what was he on the IL? Oh, concussion. I was going to say, that was real quick that it seemed. I mean, he did well in his last start against Minnesota, 21.15. He's pitching at home. He did have a bad game against Seattle, minus 2.8 in 1 game, 5 innings. Pitching at home, he does have a better ERA, though, so I could see that. Michael Wacha for tournaments, I'm okay with. Logan Gilbert's the one where he comes in a little bit higher ERA than what we're used to, but he's done well. Splits-wise, he has faced Kansas City once this year, 18.9. Obviously, you would love to see more, especially at 10K. That scares me a little bit. It is a pitcher's park, but on the road, he has a 5.29 ERA. I don't like those numbers with how high of a price he is and his numbers on the road. That does scare me a little. So if I'm taking one, I'm probably going to be looking at Michael Wacha for tournaments. Not looking at Gilbert. He's just too high priced for me. But if I'm taking bats on both sides, even though this is the biggest outfield in the major league, so the ball doesn't usually fly out of there, I mean, I'm looking at Cal Raleigh. I'm looking at J-Rod. I would look at Josh Naylor, be my top 3. If I'm looking at Kansas City bats against Gilbert, Bobby Witt Jr., Pascatino, Mike Yastrzemski would be my top 3. Sal Perez, obviously, you got to get him in there. Being as bad as they are, these last couple of weeks of September, we're seeing some weird lineups out there. So you could see a Jack Caglione. You could see a Luke Maile catching. Carter Jensen catching. It just depends. If you want to get a little creative, a Kansas City stack with maybe three of the players, and then you want to do more, I'm okay with a full Kansas City stack. Like, pay up for 3 and go down for 3. I don't mind that at all. There's just other options and slates out. We do have some rain in Colorado, but it's very up and down with the mountains. The rain could go out of there in next game. Sorry, my throat is still a little raw. So we've got, speaking of, the key word of the day is raw, and then follow that with a remedy that you guys know, or an old wives' tale, or what your grandparents told you to take for a sore throat outside of a hottie toddy. Okay, I do have one of those upstairs, or I have something. So next game on the slate, we've got Cincinnati at the Cardinals. We've got Andrew Abbott versus Michael McGreevy. So we look at Abbott. I believe his home and away splits are way different. No, they're similar. When he pitches on the road, he's got a 3.14. He's going up against St. Louis. He has faced him 3 times this year, and he's only averaging 16.4. So he's not done entirely well against them. Still a 1.69 ERA. It just hasn't really equated to like a fantasy outing that made like a huge fantasy out. So if we look at that, he put 16.45 3 starts ago. Then 21.95 at St. Louis. He did well against them. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that whatsoever. So I'm looking at that, and Andrew Abbott, I don't mind him at 8,500. I like that price point a little bit better than his other one. Then you got Michael McGreevy. He really has not done much. We've stacked against him. He put 19.9. Or wait, wrong one. Did he face it? He put 11.3 in 1 start. 6 innings, 1 earned run, but had 0 strikeouts in that one. Kind of what I think. This being a home game, he does have a 6.07 ERA at home. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'd rather go with Andrew Abbott and Cincinnati bat. So I'm probably looking at Ellie. I'm looking at Noelvi Marte, and I'm probably looking at Austin Hayes as my top 3. And it'll just depend on the lineup that Cincy throws out. If you don't trust Andrew Abbott and you want to go St. Louis, Jordan Walker, Wilson Contreras, probably Ivan Herrera would be my top 3 St. Louis bats there. Texas at Houston is the next game. We've got hopefully a good game. Hopefully we're going to see some runs be had by all. But we've got Merrill Kelly versus to be announced. So it's not confirmed that it's Christian Javier, but he really hasn't done much outside of against the A's that you're supposed to, and then Boston a little bit. But he didn't even get the value. Splits wise, he has not faced them this year. Obviously came off the IL. When he pitches at home, he's got a 3.44, which is better than away of 7.88. Texas is one of those teams where they either put up a ton of runs or they just get skunked. And it's hard to know which day it's with, like, who's going to show up that day. Then you got Merrill Kelly. We stacked against him, Milwaukee. He only gave up 300 runs, 6 Ks. He did decent. I mean, he only got 16.75. It didn't come through like I thought he would. When he pitched 2 starts ago against Houston, 24.15. He dominated that one. I think tournament-wise, pitching away, he does have a 3.14. It's better than on the road or at home. I think Merrill Kelly could be sneaky here, especially at 8,700 under that 9K mark against a reeling offense of the Astros, who are no longer in first place. And outside of Jordan, they're not hitting that well. Altuve may be out a while. I don't know. He might be back. We'll see. That's one that I'm not really looking at the offenses. I'm taking a little bit of Merrill Kelly, and that's basically it through at least the first 10,000 sim. Miami at Colorado is next. It is Yuri Perez versus Kyle Freeland. Freeland, 25 plate appearances in his career against Miami, 292 batting average. Yuri Perez really hasn't seen him. Now, again, this is a Coors game. It does scare me. He had back-to-back negative fantasy points this year. When he pitches on the road, he's got a 6.44. That scares me. I think I'll have a little bit of exposure to him in tournaments, but I think being on the road, he struggles, and this ballpark, I am scared about that. Then Kyle Freeland just dominated San Diego 2 starts ago. 40.8 at home, 8 innings, 10 Ks. Against Miami, he's averaging 23.2. When he pitches at home, he has been worse. I think sneaky-wise, Freeland and the Rockies offense, I don't think a lot of people are going to be on them. So if I'm looking at some of the Rockies bats, probably Hunter Goodman, Mickey Moniak, Jordan Beck, Britton Doyle, those would be the ones I'd look at. If you think Freeland's going to have a bad game because he's at home, Augustin Ramirez, Victor Mesa, Joey Weimer, I don't mind them. I think they'll be sneaky, but I don't mind them. So that's where I'm at in this one. But there's some rain concerns, so definitely pay attention. But with the way the Mountains go, it might be okay. We might get the game in, and the rain just completely misses. You really never know until closer to game. So San Francisco to Arizona is next. It is confirmed Eduardo Rodriguez. It has not been confirmed that it is Carson Seymour. Now, Seymour, if it is, the past couple of games, it's just been an inning as an opener, and that is it. He did give up 4 earned runs in 1.1 innings against Arizona. So he did just see them, and they got him pretty good. That's kind of where I'd look at. I would look at Ketel Marte. I would look at Corbin Carroll. I would look at Geraldo Perdomo. Those would be my top 3 there. Those against Carson Seymour. I'm not using Seymour. And then Eduardo Rodriguez, I can't trust him. A great start against San Francisco in that ballpark. Okay. Splits-wise, here in 2 starts, though, he's not averaging that. So he just faced them last start in a ballpark that is a pitcher's ballpark. But then when we saw him against San Francisco, that was at home again, or in San Francisco again, 4.2 fantasy points. You look at splits, when he pitches at home in this ballpark, 5.28. Give me some of the bats in this one. I do not trust the pitching. I'd rather take the bats. San Francisco bats, Devers, Chapman, Elliot Ramos are my top 3. I would look at a little bit of Willie Adames, and I got to get Jung Ho Lee in there. He is really, really good against lefties this year. And then the final game on the slate, we got Philly at the Dodgers. Hopefully, it's a shootout. Maybe. We'll see. It is Christopher Sanchez. It is Shohei Ohtani, though. So you got Sanchez coming in. 3 straight really good starts. 1 against the Mets, 1 against Miami, 1 against Atlanta. Splits-wise, he has faced the Dodgers once this year. 18 fantasy points, 5.2 innings, 4 earned runs with 9 strikeouts. So he's been decent. We've seen that. In his career, 79 plate appearances against this current roster of the Dodgers. 21.5 K percentage and 257 batting average in those 79 plate appearances. Then you got Ohtani. I don't know what Ohtani's going to do here. You don't see the pitching stats here. He's 8K. Let me pause real quick and bring it up. And yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I mean, 3.2 innings against Baltimore, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 5 innings, 4.14. Like, you're not getting 5 really. He's done 5 innings once this year. And all of these pitches, or all these games, is a total of 37 innings pitched. You just can't use him as a pitcher, at least for DFS purposes. It just doesn't work. I would rather look at probably Ohtani going maybe 4 or 5 innings than that bullpen coming in. And that bullpen for the Dodgers have struggled this year. I think I like Sanchez a little bit. If you don't go with him, usually against lefties, we take Teoscar Hernandez. We take Shohei batting as well as a little bit of Tommy Edman. But if we're taking Philly bats against Ohtani, I'm looking at Bryce Harper. I'm looking at Kyle Schwarber. I'm probably looking a little bit of Max Kepler as well. Maybe Bryson Stott too. You just can't pay $8,000 for Ohtani to pitch and not get you the innings that you get there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in this game. Sanchez for a little bit if you're making multiple different lineups, but I don't mind stacking on both sides. So there you have it. That is your early slate and your main slate, both of them completed. Now it is time to give you all of the batters that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating through the first 10,000 sims. And guys, it's not that good. But let's go through it. Aaron Judge, number 1. Number 2 is Bryce Turang. 3 is Junior Caminero. 4 is Alex Bregman. 5 is Gleyber Torres. 6 is Juan Soto. 7, William Contreras. 8, Josh Naylor. 9, Sal Frelick. 10, Manny Machado. 11, and final, Luis Ariz against Clay Holmes or Sean Manaea or that bullpen for them. So, not a ton to love through 10,000 sims. We don't have a ton, 10 out of 10. So that is what we've got. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always get those down below. You can hit us up in our Discord, which everything is down below. We also have a link to our 3 sports books, FanDuel, DraftKings, and Fanatics. If you guys sign up using our link and deposit a minimum of $20, show us proof, we're going to give you a free month of FTA Plus for each website you guys sign up for. Okay, so pitches be crazy. So what this is we've looked, and these are the bottom 5 teams that strike out the most, and then the pitchers they are going against. Number 1 is Freddie Peralta versus the Angels. Angels strike out 9.97 times per game, 10.25 on the road. Number 2 is Yuri Perez at Colorado. The Rockies strike out 9.44 times per game, 8.77 at home. Number 3 is Zebby Matthews versus the Yankees. The Yankees strike out 8.95 times per game, but they strike out 9.62 at home. Number 4 is Shane Smith versus Baltimore. Baltimore strikes out 8.88 times per game, 9.05 on the road. And number 5, finally, Michael Wacha versus the Mariners. The Mariners strike out 8.86 times per game, 8.93 on the road. So, looking at that, I don't mind some of those. I love Freddie Peralta here. I like a little bit of Shane Smith, and I like a little bit of Michael Wacha as well. So, that being said, now we're going to do our final segment, Makin Bacon. So, we're going to look at some of the batters I think you should look at. Love Yankees at Twins for the most amount of bases. Through 10,000 sims, 30.63 total bases. Aaron Judge, think he has the best chance for 2+ bases. So, if you look at some of these bats, these are the batters I would target, whichever sportsbook you use, or whichever prop you use. So, get these in there and then decide if you want base hits, if you want 2+ bases, if you want to go for home runs. Make it your own. Aaron Judge, my number 1. Number 2 is Cody Bellinger. 3 is Shea Langoliers. 4 is Alex Bregman. 5 is Ben Rice. 6 is Josh Naylor. 7 is George Springer. 8 is Cal Raleigh. 9 is Brent Rooker. And finally, 10 is Trent Grisham versus Zebby Matthews. So the first 10,000 sims loves the Yankees as a stack against Zebby Matthews. And then finally, we're looking at some of the pitchers and the strikeout numbers I would look at. Number 1 is Freddie Peralta versus the Angels. I would look at 8+ strikeouts for you there. Paul Skeens versus the Cubs, I would look at 8+ as well. Yuri Perez versus Colorado, I would look at 5 to 6+. Remember, it is in Coors, and that does scare me. Cam Schlittler against the Twins, I would look at 5+ to 6+ strikeouts. Christopher Sanchez versus the Dodgers, another one, 5 to 6 strikeouts is what I would look at. And I think it's going to be interesting, but Kyle Freeland versus Miami, 4 to 5+ strikeouts, I do not mind there. And that is what we've got. So if you guys have any questions at all, like I said, get those down below. Get them in our Discord. You can always email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. You can always find Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, @advisors_team. We are there for you. Let's have a great, fantastic Tuesday. Good luck. And as always, bring home some bacon. Peace.